Hi, I'm Paula Nicholson.
And I'm Lisa Hayden.
Welcome to another episode of Faces Behind the Fight. In this episode, we're going to go behind the scenes at the Institute and meet one of our research scientists. We have a team of scientists working in a world-class capacity, continuing to do groundbreaking research. It's very exciting to be part of the scientific community working in this area.
We're also going to meet Gail Elsie, Fiona's mother, who's been an integral part of the Institute since it began in 1998. Gail, as Fiona's mother, you had your own journey to go on when Fiona was diagnosed with cancer.
I did. It was very, very hard for Fiona and I. As a mother, initially when she was first diagnosed, you're numb, you're in shock, and it's a whole world that you've never ever experienced before. We found it very hard going to Melbourne and leaving our family and friends behind.
So it became evident quite early on that Fiona was probably not going to recover from this, but she seemed to be amazingly resilient in her outlook and her approach.
She was very resilient. She was a very strong-willed girl, and I think that did help her to some degree. But you really don't know from day to day what you're going to face.
As you're going through this terrible experience, Gail, it became really important to both you and Fiona, the notion of research.
Well, it was interesting how that evolved because we met a couple there, Trudy and Stan Gore, who'd lost a daughter with cancer, who were involved in fundraising for research, and they invited Fiona and I to go and have a look at the laboratory. And we were aware that Dr. George Kanarakis was doing research there. Opening the door to the research actually changed a whole view of Fiona's approach. And it was a whole new world for her to understand the benefit of what research could do for treatment, even at such a young age. So she became very interested and very passionate.
Did it give her something to hold on to as she was losing her battle with this disease?
Absolutely. I think it worked twofold. As a mother, it gave me hope. For Fiona, it gave her the will to fight. So research is a very important key because you can have chemotherapy and you can have radiotherapy, but research is an avenue that they don't really cover because it gives you hope. And hope's a very strong, big word when you're facing that.
So Gail, you must be incredibly proud of where we're at now and what you've helped to achieve with the Institute.
I'm very proud of Fiona. I think of what has evolved from her passion and her making George and I promise to fulfil what she wanted to see happen. She was so passionate to the extent that when Fiona was terminal, she requested George to remove her tumour because through her tumour they could do the research to improve the outcomes of that actual cancer. So that was to the extent of how far she was willing to go. She saw it as a gift of love to hand her tumour on.
Gail, it's an amazing legacy from a very brave young girl. And later on we're going to meet Associate Professor Stewart, who is one of our research scientists working on some current research that's very exciting.
when I joined the lab, it's really moved into an area of looking at immunology, and these things always take a little while to get up and running. But in the last couple of years, our research is starting to get published in major international journals and so on, and we're getting exposed, I guess, to the broader scientific community. Recently, I've come back from Beijing, where I was giving a seminar over there to a large international audience of researchers, and they're really excited by the type of work that we're doing here. People think of cancer and how we're going to defeat it, and you can look at it from the point of view of stopping cancer itself, so working out how it started and trying to find ways to prevent that, and directly attacking the cancer with drugs, such as chemotherapy or radiotherapy. But the other approach is to teach the body to defeat cancer itself, and that is by using the immune system. What a lot of people don't understand is that the immune system is actually very efficient at preventing cancer, and probably every person in Australia has had some form of cancer at some point in their lives, but for the most part they don't know it because their immune system is able to detect the cancer and kill it before it becomes a problem. Now obviously that doesn't happen all of the time, so our research here is really focusing on understanding what goes wrong when people do develop cancer, why isn't the immune system able to do it, and in particular we're interested in understanding what we can do to enhance the ability of the immune system to attack cancer, so that we can incorporate immune-based treatments in the treatment of cancer alongside the more traditional approaches. There's some outstanding developments. The area that we're particularly focused on is understanding how the immune system regulates the immune response. So the immune system is extremely complex, and it's not just sort of one type of cell that's doing everything. There's hundreds of different types of cells, and a lot of them we don't fully understand at the moment. What we're doing here is understanding what regulates the immune system. So that is what allows the immune system to recognise and kill cancer. Now, some of the recent studies that have come out have identified elements of the immune system that normally prevent immune responses or alternatively enhance immune responses. And some of those have just recently become the subject of phase 3 clinical trials for treatments of diseases such as lung cancer and melanoma. And the early results are extremely promising. Now, those type of studies, this is sort of the new frontier of cancer treatment, and those studies have been based on some very early work looking at immune regulation. The work we and other labs are doing is identifying new ways that the immune system is regulated, and it could be any one of those new mechanisms of regulation that could be the next sort of treatment that allows cancer treatment to become more and more effective.
It was wonderful to hear from Stewart today, and thank you to Gail. We look forward to hearing more in future episodes.
We'd love to hear your story, so if you'd like more information, visit our website, and we look forward to seeing you next time. Goodbye.